Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Let's look at making craters for First Crusade, for Warhammer 40,000 in 3 different ways and fairly affordable as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use some air drying clay. All right, you can pick this up for a couple quid at your local hobby shop for about 1 kilogram. And essentially what you want to do is you want to cut out a bit of cardboard for your base. All right, wet that clay down and then try and shape it as well as you can using a bit of water. I didn't start with because I'm a moron. And shape that into as natural as of a landform as a shell crater can be. Alright, so roughly circular, raised edges, etc. Now, once that has dried and you've built up that rough shape, what you can do while the clay is still drying, you can take some ground cover. I'm using Kraut Cover Scenic's Riverbed for this. And what I also did as well is I got a large rock and I used that to push that kind of texture in to the clay as it dried. Added in some bits of wood to simulate duckboards and pushing in some of that gravel. Quite quick, quite easy, dries pretty solid because the clay is going to wear pretty well when it comes to wargaming on. The next one, using tin foil and hot glue. Now, if you have an excess of hot glue and you fancy giving this a go, because it is quite a lot of fun, give it a go. However, it's not the most financially viable because you do go through an awful lot of hot glue and it does take a long time, but it is quite good fun. So sticking the tin foil down onto your cardboard base or whatever you want to use, shaping that again roughly and using the crinkles and what have you from the tin foil is going to allow you to get some more of that texture. Then what you want to do is you want to start applying in fairly small areas hot glue, letting it find its level, and then using sculpting tools, using the ends of old paintbrushes because they are going to get ruined. Start messing about with it and moving it about as it cools to allow you to create more of a realistic ground texture. So just moving it about, pushing it up where edges that it's missed some of the tin foil, and moving it about to make it look more like mud rather than just a pile of hot glue and tin foil. What I then did is I used some Geek Gaming Scenics and applied some of the Kraut Cover Grim Dark base, which is soil with skulls and bones in. I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously added in some more duckboard type situations as well, and just kind of sprinkled those over certain areas. Okay, the next one, which I helpfully apparently didn't record all of it, was using your foam board and your ground cover. I'm using the ground cover from Geek Gaming Scenics again. So essentially, same process, but you're using offcuts of your foam board. If you've got any spare, and I had some left over from a trench video, which is going to be coming up fairly soon, you could either do this or you could just use a square of foam board and then cut it into the shape of a crater. However, I had these offcuts, so I thought I'd use them. Save me chucking them in the bin or just leaving them all over the flat and having the missus get very annoyed at me. So once you have got your rough shape of your crater, you are using the ground cover which is a mix of paper and plaster of Paris to then simulate the mud. Pushing that in, watering it down to create the crater. Now I'm moving on to painting. I sprayed them all black with a rattle can, and then I am just using cheap hobbycraft craft paints to get this coverage, and some crappy brushes. So roughly applying a brown. I then, because I want the ground to look more clayey, if you've ever watched 1917, a lot of the ground is very clayey around France, and that was kind of the inspiration I was going for. And it's going to make the model stand out a lot more because it is going to be a little more desaturated. So I hit it with a brown, and then what I do is I mix in a raw sienna into that brown. I'm not even bothering to wash my brush because that's going to add a little more variety. Once I've mixed those in together, I then dry brush that over with an old makeup brush, and then using an acrylic brown and black and some water, you kind of want to aim for the consistency of milk. I'm then doing a quick wash over the craters and then letting that dry, then going back in with that raw sienna, and then a grey beige as your final highlight. Now obviously you can spend an awful lot more time on these, but for quick, fairly cheap to implement scatter terrain, especially considering Trench Crusade is on its way and you could use these for 40k and what have you, I think they're pretty effective. So what do you think? What do you want me to try out terrain wise next? They're gonna do some basing videos soon and building some trench systems, more for ease of use. I don't have a whole lot of space in my flat to have like a large table set up for wargaming, so I'm going to be making some more scatter terrain trench pieces rather than like a modular gaming table. But look at a couple of different ways of doing that, and we are going to be looking at painting up some of the miniatures and making them battle ready, nice and quick, and really effective models. I do stream 3 days a week on Twitch, so if you do want to come and check us out, please feel free. All of my links and what have you are below. There is a Discord as well with a growing hobby community within it. So come hang out, let us know what you think, leave a like and subscribe, chuck us a comment, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.